Hello, this is Japanese from Zero. I'm George Trombley, and we are moving through Book 3 of Japanese from Zero. This is going to be lesson 4 today, but I do want to do one quick thing, because the last video that I shot, I was talking about this book, Kanji from Zero, and I had a different version of it. This is the actual released version. The color is so much better. I don't know what I did different, honestly. But something I did different in the process made it look so much more pretty. So I put the pretty version up here. And this has all of the new added stuff after the first revision. So this is it. This is actually first edition. This is not the sample anymore. And it is really beautiful. And today, after this very video, we're going to be doing the very first Kanji from Zero video series. Very excited about that. So look for that. But right now it's book 3, and we're moving through its lesson. Oops, I thought I was already on this. Nothing's moving. Give me a second. I thought I was moving already. We're not moving. Here we go. Lesson 4. Today we're going to be doing lesson 4, and lesson 4, super important. This is a big lesson, yet very, very easy to do. And your Japanese, if you've just been following the book, is getting ready to take a big leap forward. We're going to talk about expressing our opinion, but it's not just expressing opinion. That is the overall topic of the lesson, but we're going to learn a thing that lets us do a lot more things. And we do need to know these kanji right here. In the book, we progressively teach kanji, and in lesson 4, it opens up with teaching these 5 kanji, which are yasumi, ue, shita, hidari, and migi, which means to take a break, up, down, left, and right. But we're not going to be doing that right now because this is not kanji from Zero. So today we're going to need some new words. There's a lot. There's more new words in the lesson that I'm going to cover here, as always. But these are just the ones that we're going to use in this particular broadcast. This one, omou. Omou. Omou means to think. To think. Now, there is another way to say think, like I'm considering it kind of a think. That's not this one. Okay, we'll do that another time. This one is omou, and it only means I think this or that. It cannot be used to say I'm thinking. I'm thinking is a whole nother verb. I'm just going to give it to you. It's kangaeru. Kangaeru. Not kangaroo. I know it kind of sounds like that. Kangaeru. Kangaeru. If you're looking for the romaji, that's kangaeru. But we're not going to do that today. And what we're getting ready to do is we cannot use kangaeru. When you want to say, I think this or that, you must use omou. Okay, we're also going to use you. You. You means to say. And this is a verb from way back, but we're going to use it. Kiku. Kiku. To hear. All right. Also means to ask, but we're only going to use the to hear version of today. And we're going to use one new particle, which is to. Now, we already know to as a particle, right? I think you see a pattern where particles can be the same sound, but completely different usages. The first time we encountered to was when it was an and. Inu to neko to buta, right? So dog and cat and pig. Then we learned to as a with particle. Dare to ikimasu ka? Who are you going with? George to ikimasu. I will go with George. Okay? And now we are using it as a way to mark a quote, a thought, or an idea. Okay? We're going to see how that works in just a second. Let's look at the grammar mechanics. Now, when you first learn a new grammar thing, now someone asked me this on YouTube, and I thought it was a good point. He was a little bit frustrated. He's like, why is it always about nouns, verbs, and adjectives? Because grammar is always about nouns, verbs, and adjectives. The grammar changes slightly based on if you're doing it with a noun, with an adjective, and in Japanese, it's whether it's an e adjective or a na adjective, and whether you're doing it with verbs. So you have meishi, which means nouns. We have keiyoshi, which is adjectives. Remember, there's 2 types. And we have doshi. Doshi means verbs. So there's slight changes in the grammar depending on the last part of speech before that grammar hits, in this case. So we need to know, are we saying let's just go through a few. Let's look at the sentence. So, 犬です. Okay, 犬です. It's a dog. Now, I want to say, I think it's a dog. So, I have to put と思います. To marks the thing. Basically, at this point, we think it's going to be wrong. 犬ですと思います. But that's wrong. We're going to cover it in a second. 犬ですと思います is wrong, but grammatically feels right. Okay. It's a dog. と思います. Okay. It's a dog と思います. But when you put something in a quote or a thought or an idea bubble, okay, in English we put quotes around it, okay? In Japanese, you have to package it to be in that little circle. And the way they do it is they make things informal. So, 犬です becomes 犬だ. 犬だと思います. 犬だと思います. I think it's a dog. You cannot say 犬と思います. That is wrong. 犬だと思います is correct. The des must remain, but it remains in its informal form. That's how nouns work. Okay, let's look at keiyoshi. We'll start with an ikeiyoshi. おいしいです. Now, it looks exactly the same, right? It's delicious as 犬です. It looks exactly like it. おいしいです, there's a des. 犬です, there's a des. Okay, but we cannot say, we can't say おいしいですと思います, number one. Never, ever can we do that. But we also can't say おいしいだと思います. おいしいだと思います is wrong. Keiyoshis, remove the da and just say おいしいと思います. The keiyoshis. Did I say keiyoshis? Adjectives. E-adjectives remove the des. The des is removed. おいしいと思います. But what if it's a na keiyoshi? Now, we don't know this, but I'm going to teach this to you. 必要. 必要. 必要 means needed or necessary. 必要です means it's needed or it's necessary. This is a really good word. Really good word. For example, 必要ですか? Is it needed? Blah, blah, blah が必要ですか? Do you need a blah, blah, blah? Okay. Now, 必要 is a na keiyoshi. We all know what that is. We've been doing this book series now for 60-some videos and 600 plus pages, right? So, 必要だと思います. It's just, in this case, just like the way nouns are used. The da stays there. So right now we have a rule. Des becomes da unless it's an ikeiyoshi. Okay? Des becomes da unless it's an ikeiyoshi. Okay. All right. Let me take a second. No, let me do the verbs first. I was gonna do past tense, but we're gonna do past tense after the verbs. All right. So let's look at the verbs. 行きます. 行きます. I will go. You want to say, I think I will go. So you're basically saying 行きますと思います, which is wrong, because you have to make it into its casual, informal form, or plain form. It's called plain form for that reason, because it's neither casual and it's not informal in this sentence. 行くと思います. I think I will go. 行くと思います. Now, if I want to make that sentence informal, I have to change the final verb. 行くと思う. I think I will go. See how that works? 思います is polite. Everything inside the quote must be casual, but it doesn't make the entire sentence casual. That's just the way it has to be made. Now, let's go back to what we had earlier. What if I wanted to say, I think it was delicious? We're still using 思います. I think it was delicious. How was the food yesterday? I think now that it was delicious. Well, it's an e-adjective. 美味しかったと思います. You still cannot have the da there. 美味しかった. It was delicious. Right? If I want to say it was delicious, in normal speaking, I would say 美味しかったです. Right? 美味しかったです. But in a I think it was delicious, 美味しかったと思います. If you say 美味しいと思いました, that means I thought it was delicious. Now you're making the word think past tense, okay? Now let's look at our na keiyoshi, our na adjective. 必要だったと思います. I think it was necessary. 必要だった. See, the des is still there. The des does not show up in E adjectives, regardless of what you're doing with it. わかりましたか? Do you understand? All right. Let's look at some more grammar mechanics. Now, we've only used 思います at this part, and we've talked about what we're doing with nouns, adjectives, and verbs. And that rule doesn't change if we change the verb. Let's look at what happens when we change the verb. So we have the first one that we had, いいと思います. I think it's good. Like, hey man, what do you think of the new plan that we have to make this company profitable? いいと思います. I think it's good. Of course, that's a bad answer. You want to say a lot more than that when you're in a meeting at a company. I'm assuming we still have sound. All right. いいと思います. I think it's good. But what if someone said, I said it was good. いいと思います. I said, I think it's good. And then what did George say? いいと言いました. いいと言いました. He said, past tense, he said it was good. You shouldn't say いいと言います. That makes it future tense. He will say it's good. Typically when you're using you to say, it's always something that's already been said. So that tends to be past tense. But when you're saying think, that tends to be a current thought. So it's almost always 思います. Okay? That's a mechanic that you shouldn't forget. So いいと言いました. He said it was good. She said it was good. I said it was good. いいと言いました. Okay? Oh, hey, Jeff was just talking to you. I heard it. I heard that George, how would I say? I didn't directly talk to George, but I heard Jeff told me that George said it was good, right? So I heard that it was good. I heard that it was good. いいと聞きました. Again, heard is past tense. It's already happened. Therefore, the 聞きました is past tense. いいと聞きました. いいと聞きました. I heard it was good. Okay. Now, we could put all sorts of complicated sentences within this と, within this encapsulated thing. You can hear things, you can think things, you can say things. As long as you follow the rule of the noun, the verb, or the adjective, you can do it. Okay? You can make all sorts of phrases now. Let's give some examples. All right. So I have an example. I'm going to give you the Japanese first on this one, and I want you to tell me what it means. First, I'm going to say it to help you with your kikitori, your listening. Okay. 今日は月曜日だと思いました. 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 And that means, there it is, 今日は月曜日だと思いました. I thought today was Monday. Now, I want to point something out. In English, we always say I thought first. But in Japanese, it never can be と思いました something, something, something. It's always the thing that you thought, then the verb. Remember, Japanese ends its sentences with verbs. It's an SOV language, subject, object, verb. Okay? Whereas English is SVO, I, verb, the thing. Not in Japanese. So it can never be 思った or 思いました I thought, and then the thing that you thought. Okay? That is very, very wrong if you do it that way. Okay? So, 今日は月曜日だと思いました. Now notice that I didn't say 今日は月曜日だったと思いました. You don't have to have double past tense. 今日は月曜日だと思いました. I thought this thing. Today is Monday. I thought today is Monday. Okay? Was Monday. In English is natural, but in Japanese you're really saying, I thought today is Monday. Okay? All right, here's another one. So that was a verb. Okay? Now we're going to use an E adjective. Okay? How would you translate this? ジョージが優しいと聞きました. 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 There it is. ジョージが優しいと聞きました. I heard that George was kind or nice, right? I heard that George was nice. I am sometimes. Sometimes I'm nice. By the way, someone in YouTube just said, hey, George, can you say, here's what I think? No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just say what you thought the right way. Now, later on, when your Japanese gets better, yeah, I'll give it to you. You can say, 私が思うには, the way that I think is, yeah, but that's way higher level grammar than we are at in book 3. Okay? Do yourself a favor. Learn the basics. Learn the basic mechanics before you move to exactly what you want to say in English. The number one reason in my mind, one of the main reasons that people fail in a language or sound bad is they try to replicate English. Don't replicate English. Don't say what you want to say what you can say. And as you get better at the things that you can say, you will be eventually able to say what you want to say directly. Now, that's not always true because sometimes what you want to say is an exact way of saying something in English, but they don't do it in that other language. Now, I know Japanese. I'm pretty good at Korean now. I speak a lot of Korean, and my Chinese is getting better. I'm just getting ready to end my first semester at college here learning Chinese, and I am blown away at how far I've been able to come. And I'll tell you what, there are things that I cannot say in Chinese, so I say the thing that I can. I can say a lot more in Korean, but not everything exactly. There's things that I know in Japanese that I really love the way it sounds in Japanese, but they don't do it in Korean. For example, Japanese love to say things like, yarasete itadakimashite, arigatou gozaimashita, or they say things like, they say things like that where they have a lot of sasete itadakimasu. I will have you allow me to do it. But Koreans don't go that level. They don't. They typically don't do that same sort of overly formal stuff. They do have formal, but it's not like Japanese. And I've been told, don't do that. Don't do that thing. So even though I want to say it, I'm forced to say what I can say and what's allowed in the grammar, right? Because I don't want to sound like a Japanese person speaking Korean. And you don't want to sound like an American speaking Japanese. You want to have natural Japanese, right? And the way to do that is to build your real concrete base, right? These books are purposely paced in a way that you don't get to a point where all of a sudden, I don't get what's happening, okay? In live classes, trust me, I tried to push the envelope, but people normally, they need a slower pace to really memorize it. All right, here's another sentence. How would you say, now we have done adjective and we have done noun. Now let's go ahead and do adjective. Okay, how would you say, George said that he likes Pokemon. Now I'm giving you the English. What does that mean? George said he likes Pokemon, and obviously I do. These I bought out like the entire store. I love Pokemon. I mean, I'm kind of lame because I didn't actually play any Pokemon game before Pokemon Go, and I feel like that makes me a poser, if that word even exists anymore. That's like a loser Pokemon fan, because I have this other evolution. I think he's Umbreon or something like that. Umbreon, but he's not even in Pokemon Go yet at this stage, and I'm lame. But George did say that he likes Pokemon, despite that. George said he likes Pokemon. George ga Pokemon ga suki da to imashita. George ga Pokemon ga suki da to imashita. Okay? So, now, I don't like doing this, but if you are encapsulating something in this form of someone said this, then the wa often is changed to a ga. When you're using someone else in a clause of another sentence, I hate using that word, but George said this, I'm a part of the clause. So I am the subject, yeah? I am the thing that we're talking about, and therefore I get marked with ga, okay? All right, thank you for watching. I did that shrug thing because this is one of those topics that are just so... Because you could say, George wa Pokemon ga suki da to imashita. George, the topic, said that he likes Pokemon. But the ga feels more natural in my mind because I'm the clause of the sentence. Thank you for watching. we'll bring that up again more times as we go through these lessons. And next lesson is lesson 5, and I don't remember what it is, but stick around, those of you that are watching on the live stream, because we're going to do a lesson from kanji from 0. See you then. Bye-bye.